people in our community and across our nation who are dealing with this pandemic. Thank you. Welcome everyone to our second electronic council meeting. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Regional Council is practicing physical distancing and all of the councillors are participating electronically. Fees and charges, increases, and appoint associated medical officers of health. In order to ensure that the meeting functions smoothly, there is a need to establish a few ground rules. Please make sure you mute your phone or device when you are not speaking to minimize feedback. *6 on your phone, mute on your device, such as a computer or an iPad. Those using video conferencing will find these tools in the participant feature at the bottom of your screen. You may need to mute participants. We may need to mute participants to address certain issues. The meeting moderator has the ability to mute all participants. If this happens, I will call on you before you are unmuted. In an attempt to speed things up, we have assigned a mover and a seconder, and I will read these out. We will attempt to utilize the controls available to us for voting. Raise your hand for video and audio callers, *9 if you're on a phone call. And if this fails, I will ask the clerk to conduct a recorded vote, and each council will be called upon alphabetically to verbally state yay or nay on each item. We will now start a vote on convening in open session. Madam Clerk, are you going to do a roll call?
So starting with roll call, Chair Redmond.
Here.
Councillor Armstrong.
Here.
Councillor Clark.
Here.
Councillor Erb.
Here.
Councillor Foxton.
Here.
Councillor Galloway.
Here.
Councillor Harris. Councillor Harris. I'll come back. Councillor Jaworski.
Here.
Councillor Jowett.
Here.
Councillor Kiefer. Councillor Kiefer. Councillor Kiefer.
Here.
Thank you. Councillor Lorenz.
Here.
Councillor McGarry. Councillor McGarry.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Nowak.
Here.
Councillor Shawn.
Here.
Councillor Strickland.
Here.
Councillor Prevanovic.
Here.
Again, Councillor Harris.
Here.
Thank you. All in attendance.
Thank you very much. We will now vote on reconvening into open session. This has been moved by Councillor Erb and seconded by Councillor Harris. Would all of you raise your hand who are in favor?
Everybody? If I'm enough to carry it anyways.
That motion is carried. I would now ask, are there any declarations of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? If so, please raise your hand. Seeing none, I would now entertain a motion to go into the committee of the whole to consider reports. This is moved by Councillor Foxton, seconded by Councillor Galloway. Please raise your hand, all those who are in favor. That motion is carried. Council will now go into committee of the whole to consider reports. First report is a finance report. It's the impact update, deferral of fees and charges. And I would ask Mr. Dyer if he would like to review this report for us.
So thank you, Madam Chair. Just a brief report for Council's consideration this evening. As part of the 2020 budget that was approved back in January, there were a number of new and increased user fees and charges that were approved. Most of those changes came into effect back in January, but there were 4 areas where we have proposed fee increases coming into effect as of today, the 1st of April. And those are listed in the table at the top of page 4 of the agenda, relating to tipping fees for waste management, some program fees at Sunnyside Home, some meal recovery costs with respect to supportive housing, and special event fees for paramedic services. And given the circumstances that we currently find ourselves in, staff are recommending that those fee increases be deferred. Staff would report back with an implementation plan at a later date. It has a relatively small impact overall with respect to revenues in 2020, as you can see in the table in the financial implications. And just a reminder for Council that we're in the process of preparing a financial impact assessment of COVID-19 with respect to the region, and we intend to report to Council on the 22nd of April.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dyer. The motion before us has been moved by Councillor Strickland and seconded by Councillor McGarry. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, I would ask you to raise your hand if you are in favor of the recommendation that the municipality of Waterloo defer implementation of the proposed user fee and charge increases planned for April 1st, 2020, as set out in Appendix A in Report COR-FSD-20-10, dated April 1st, 2020. That motion is carried. I would now entertain a motion for the Committee of the Whole to rise and for Council to resume. This has been moved by Councillor Shantz and seconded by Councillor Bravanovich. All those in favor will please raise their hand. That motion is carried. Thank you. That the Committee of the Whole rise and Council resume. Did we just do that? Okay. A motion to adopt the proceedings of the Committee of the Whole. We will now start to adopt the proceedings of the Committee of the Whole. This is moved by Councillor Jaworski and seconded by Councillor Jowett. Again, would you do a support with a show of hands? Sorry. That is carried, and you are very quick, colleagues. You've got cottoned on to this. So that is carried. Is there any other business? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion by Councillor Kiefer, seconded by Councillor Lorentz, that the enactment of the bylaws first, second, and third reading. And I would draw your attention to what is the motions that is before us. It is that A bylaw to appoint an associate medical officer of health, Dr. Ryan Van Meer, be read first, second, and third time, finally passed and numbered 20-014, signed by the regional chair and the regional clerk and sealed with the regional seal. B, that bylaw to appoint an associate medical officer of health, Dr. Julie Emil, be read a first, second, and third time, finally passed, and number 20-015, signed by the regional chair and the regional clerk and sealed with the regional seal. So all those in favor will please raise their hand. Oh, and there's, sorry, C, that a bylaw to confirm the actions of council of April 1st, 2020 be read a first, second, and third time, finally passed, and number 20-016, signed by the regional chair and the regional clerk and sealed with the regional seal. So that's A, B, and C that we are voting on. That motion is carried. And I would now entertain a motion to adjourn, moved by Councillor Nowak and seconded by Councillor Shantz. That motion is carried. Productive evening, and everybody stay well, and we will continue to socially distance ourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Bonsoir.
Well, spot too.
Be well. Good night.